Good morning again, this is Michael from Trike Bike, and today I'm going to do one of the most requested videos that we've always been asked for and we've never completed properly. We're always asked, how do you ride a tricycle? Well, today I've got a brand new 2650 tricycle here, and we're going to go through the process of how to ride it, how to get on and off, how to adjust everything properly. And at the end of the video, you'll have a much better understanding of how to ride and operate any tricycle. Okay, we're going to start by just putting the handbrakes on. Different bikes have different handbrakes, but you want to have the handbrake on so the bike won't roll away from you while you're getting off, because we understand a lot of riders are older or they're people with disabilities, and if the trike rolls, you can fall over. So we want to adjust everything to start with. So handlebars are normally, the height is adjusted okay. If you're on the bike and you feel you're reaching too far or it's too close, you can adjust the handlebar angle, and that's done by a bracket in the center here. You just undo a bolt and you can rotate the handlebars. The seat is probably the most important adjustment that you can make on a tricycle. So look at it along the side there. Where your crutch is, just go up a little bit, and that should be the seat height for you. This is set just a little bit low for me. I'm just going to move it up a fraction. That's now about the perfect height for me, but I'll show you how you can size it perfectly in a minute. So we need to stand back from the trike. We've got our handbrakes on, we're cleared, we know there's nothing we're going to fall on as we're getting on or off, and we need to rotate the pedals to get them in a position which is easier for us to get on and off. And normally that is left foot forward, right foot back for most people. It's just simply a matter of supporting yourself on the handlebar and on the seat, just so you've got something to lean on, and we can just lift up and step over the tricycle. Once we've stepped over, we can position our body in between the seat and the handlebars and the frame, and we can get ourselves comfortable in that position. We're flat-footed, so everything is really well balanced. We won't fall over, we're not going to rock backwards or forwards. So we're right to go for the next step, which is mounting on the tricycle. Now, if you can get on the bike by just walking backwards and putting your bum on the seat, then that means the seat is probably set too low for you. So normally to get onto the seat, you've got to be extended on your tippy toes, or use the pedal to stand on. So you move one of the pedals down to the lowest position, stand on the pedal to get enough height to get up onto the seat. So I'm standing on the bike, I'm going to put my foot on the pedal, I'm going to stand up and go back onto the seat. That's the easiest way to get on and off, especially if you don't have the ability to stretch up on your legs. As you get old, you lose those abilities, so you need to stand on the pedal. So I'm just going to rotate the pedal. This time it's a left pedal. I'm going to stand up and get my bum on the seat. Now, once we're in this position, this is where we basically stay for the entire time we're riding a tricycle. There's no need to put our feet on the ground. There's no need to get off or on. You can just, if you come to traffic lights, you can just stay as I am now. You're not going to fall off. The tipping angle on a tricycle is something like 38 degrees, which is an incredible long way over. So you don't need to worry about falling off because you can't put your feet on the ground. So now I'm just going to rotate the pedals backwards just to show you that I can do this without any stress on my legs. At the bottom of the stroke, I'll stop here, your leg should be only slightly bent. And you'll see in this case my leg is slightly bent. So this tricycle is now set near perfect for me. Another way you can check the seat height is to put a foot on the ground, and you should be able to only just touch the ground with your toes, just as I am now. So I'm going to bring my foot back up onto the pedal. The handlebars are well positioned. I'm in a good central spot on the seat, and I'm balanced. This is the most important part of actually riding. A lot of people will sit on them sideways like this, and they're just not balanced. You've got to make sure your bum is in the center of the seat. So even if you need to stand up a couple of times and move around to get yourself comfortable, it's important you're right in the center line of the bike. And from there, All we need to do is to release our handbrakes. So on this model, I'm just going to squeeze them. The handbrakes can pop up, the locking lever can pop up, and now the brakes are off this tricycle. And to start, if it's electric, you can give it a little bit of throttle or push the button for it to roll, or you can start by pushing the pedal. Now, if the pedals are vertical, so straight up or straight down, it's really hard to get any purchase on the pedal to get going. So this is impossible to start. So you need to rotate the pedals to being roughly level with your best leg on the forward pedal. So if you kick a ball with your right leg, then your right leg is the predominant leg. If you kick a ball with your left leg, then you should rotate the left leg around to the front. And then once you've got that position right, you can then push forward and the bike will roll away. So for me, the right leg is my predominant leg. So I've got it on the pedal. I'm going to let go of the brakes and just push forward and we roll away. Now, if your tricycle has gears, it's obviously much easier to be in first gear than it is to be in gear 6 or 7, which is the top gear. Speed number 1 is what you use for starting off or just generally riding around slowly. Speed 6 or 7 is what you use if you want to go flat out down a hill and you just don't want the high cadence. So this is our riding position. We've just finished our ride. We're ready to go inside. Now comes the time to step off. Now some people will sort of push a leg onto the ground and they'll do this and they'll roll off the side, and that just, it twists the seat and it also hurts parts that we won't talk about. So the best way to get on and off is to bring the pedals vertical again so you can stand on the pedal. I'm going to put our brakes on and we're just going to pull ourselves forward and step off. You'll see that again. You'll feel it. I can feel it. You'll see it. The tricycle actually lifts up when my weight comes off it. So I'm just going to come around, brakes on. I've got my foot forward and I'm going to step off. Once I'm in that off position, I can then bring my other leg down, move around and get myself balanced before I go to get off. I've got my hands on the brakes, so nothing, if I lose my balance, I'm not going to fall backwards. And I'm going to get myself balanced and then turn around and just lift that leg over. Your technique may be slightly different, but I can always tell you from experience that it's always best to get off that way. As I mentioned, if you try to get off any other way, sideways or that, you'll end up coming into trouble. So just step forward, get both feet on the ground, move yourself around so you're between the handlebars and the seat, and then you can just step off. So now I'm seated properly, everything's in balance, I'm ready to go, so I'll just push forward. Problems we see, a lot of people don't look forward. So when you're riding a tricycle, you need to look forward, maybe 20 or 30 meters ahead of you. A lot of people mistakenly look down straight at the front and they looking down, they concentrate and they look through the basket, and the basket, on some models the basket moves when you steer. This model is fixed, but it does something to them and they lose their confidence because they can't ride in a straight line. If you don't steer it, it will ride automatically in a straight line by itself without you doing anything. So some people say my tricycle is uncontrollable. It's not the tricycle, it's the way they're riding it. Now a lot of people will lean to the side like this because they think they've got to lean to turn. When people lean like this, what they do is they pull this handlebar to try and stop themselves from falling off. So what happens when they lean, the tricycle actually turns the wrong way. They think they're leaning to turn right, but because they're moving their body over, they're turning left. And the same with the other way. They want to turn left, so you think, oh, I've got to lean left to turn. And they do this, and all of a sudden the bike's going to the right. You don't need to lean. You can just sit on the bike, one finger on each handlebar when you're learning to ride, and just ride straight forward, and you don't have to lean. You'll just turn, and you can turn the bike in its own length. So I'll put around the handlebar, I'm pushing it around, and you can see there I've completed a full circle. I'm going to go back the other way, and again my body's straight. I'm not leaning, I'm not doing anything, I'm just turning. I'll come back and I'll straighten up, and now both hands are on the handlebars again. When you're riding, you should keep both hands on the handlebars until you get really proficient, and then you can go along and have a drink or something, swat for flies or magpies as you're riding. But while you're on there and learning, 2 hands on the handlebars. So there's a lot of older people especially that get a little bit nervous when they're riding and they start this weaving and shaking, and again comment a tricycle is uncontrollable. It's not. And what I recommend if you're helping grandma get used to the bike is put her on the seat, hand on the handlebars, and then go and grab the front basket, and while she's learning, just walk beside her, because you can help assist steering the tricycle by just moving the front basket. Now there's models where the basket turns with the handlebars, or there's models like this where the basket is fixed, but exactly the same thing happens. So I'll just walk along, I'm going to turn it to the left, and by you being on the front of the tricycle with grandma or whoever on the back, you can control it really safely and comfortably, and you're giving the rider the confidence that it's not going to take off and they're going to disappear down a hill. That simply won't happen with somebody walking alongside. It doesn't matter what side you're on, you can do it from either side, but I often describe it as like walking the dog, because you're walking a straight line, you're grabbing the basket here like you would the dog leash, and where you go, the dog goes. And that's all we're doing here, is we're just steering it. Okay, so now we understand a little bit more about riding and what you need to do to stay on the bike to be stable. So let's put that into practice. I've released the brakes, I'm pushing off. I'm just going to ride away. I'm actually on power here, I'll just turn that off. I'm going to turn to the left. So I can turn to the left, and you can see we're going quite fast. There's no chance of the bike tipping over. I'm going to now turn to the right, and you can see that I'm keeping my body primarily straight. There is a little natural tendency to lean into a corner, and that's fine, but you don't need to lean in like you do on a normal bicycle. We'll turn again. We're going to come to a halt, so I'm going to use both brakes together and just gently squeeze them to come to a halt. Take off again, we're going to ride. So I've got myself in a dead end here, and I did this intentionally just to show you. You don't have to get off and push back. You can just turn the handlebars at 90 degrees and ride away. I'm going to put myself in the dead end again and show you an advanced riding technique. So I'm in the dead end. I now don't have the room to move sideways, and I want to go back. I don't want to get off, I'm a bit lazy, I don't want to get off the bike. So I'm going to put the front brake on, I'm going to lean forward, and then when I lean back, I'm going to release the front brake, and I'm just going to let the bike roll back under gravity. Now you can see we're not downhill here, it's all my body weight doing this. So I'm going to lean forward, go back and release the brake, and you can see there how we're just rolling back, and we're now in a position where I've got enough room to start pedaling again. I'm going to tell you now another advanced riding technique which hopefully you won't need to use too often, but it's really important to know. And that is, let's say we're going down a nice pathway, a dog runs out and we need to turn quite sharply, but we're going quite fast. Well, if you're going really fast and turn sharp, the natural tendency for the tricycle will be to tip over. And we occasionally hear stories of that happening, but thankfully not very often. Now the way to be able to turn fast without tipping over, transfer your weight and put the weight on the inside of the turn. So for example, if I'm going along and I need to swerve left quite sharp, I can stop pedaling and I can just almost semi-stand on the trike, and that'll move my weight to the left-hand side. The center of gravity will go from somewhere about here down to below the wheel axle, and that really helps you with tipping. So let's just see how we go here. I'm going along, I'm going to turn fairly fast, and you can see I can lift the back wheel off the ground. I'm good at this because I do this all the time, just being silly, but that's a situation where you can get yourself into a tip sort of position. Now that is very controllable because you get a lot of feeling that you're going to tip, and it's quite controllable. You can just steer it and balance it. But what I'm going to do is show you by transferring the weight, you're not going to tip. So let's go forward again. I'm going to stop pedaling and put my weight in. Now I can do the turn quite sharply at speed without any chance of tipping at all. So I'll go again. I'm going to move my weight to the right hand side. We'll go again to the left. Now we're not going fast here. What are we doing? 9 kilometers an hour. So you can see that it's quite a good advanced riding technique if ever you get into trouble at speed. And it doesn't really matter what speed you're doing, whether you're doing 10 kilometers an hour or 20 kilometers an hour, that technique will work, and it's something you should practice every now and again. So on our electric bikes, all of them either have a throttle, which you can use to accelerate. This won't work because I've got the parking brake on at the moment. Or there's a button you can press and hold, which will rotate the front wheel and get you going. So, say I'm at traffic lights and I'm on some grass and it's quite thick, it's a bit hard for me to start pedaling. So what I can do is press and hold on this trike, the minus button, and it will automatically engage the electric motor. I'll roll off till I'm comfortable and then I can start to pedal. The other way of doing that exact same thing if your bike has a throttle is to be stationary, use the throttle to get you rolling, and at the same time rotate the pedals. When you're happy with the speed, just let go of the throttle and you'll go on pedal assist again. Now I'm feeling a bit racy. I'm going to get a bit of speed up and we're going to do some braking demonstrations. Again, with braking or any sudden movements on the tricycle, you want to make sure your body is in the center line of the tricycle. Our front brake is always on our right. Our back brake is always on our left. All the trikes we sell have a disc brake on the front, and they either have 1 or 2 disc brakes on the rear. So upmarket tricycles like the Sobowo have dual brakes on the rear, and they give you a very good controllable braking. So I'm going to put this up into setting number 5. I'm going to go to the other end of the car park, come back with speed, and I'm going to apply the brakes fairly firmly to do what I would define as an emergency stop. You weren't scared then, were you? So the brakes are really, really good. I wasn't even squeezing them as hard as I should have been or could have been. I wanted to scare Zara, our video lady, and I think I just did that. We'll just do that one more time. So I'm going to pedal away. "15 kilometers an hour, 20 kilometers an hour. Okay, brake." So I've come to a halt then very, very quickly. Okay, here I've picked a fairly narrow path. It's a bit bumpy, but this is really good to show you the stability of a tricycle. If I need to move off onto the grass, I can drop 1 wheel off, I can drop 2 wheels off, and I can come back on the grass again without any concerns at all. I can even turn around on the grass. So I'll come here, I'll turn around on the grass, I can come back onto the road. You can see it's fairly bumpy here, but I'm not losing any direction or stability or control of the tricycle. We'll do it again. So I'm going to put 1 wheel on the grass, 2 wheels on the grass. I'm going to go over to the other side. A bit of a drop there, but it's fine. You just keep riding, keep looking ahead, keep steering straight ahead. We'll turn around and one more time. It's quite bumpy here. I'm just going to go over the edge and you'll see the stability. You don't have to worry about it being a perfectly flat area or a straight bit of ground. There's a baby coming along. I'm just going to veer off here. We'll go around the baby, back onto the path, over the edges here. I'm going to go up this hill. So I'm going to turn, go straight up the hill. And to go down a hill, we're going to straighten up and just go straight down. You can with advanced techniques ride down a hill without it tipping over. So I'm just going to give you an example of that. A lot of people, when they're going down a hill and they're going sideways, will feel like they're going to tip the tricycle. So we'll go back to the advanced technique again, and that is I'm going to put the weight on the uphill side. So when we go over the edge here, the trike's leaning quite a bit, but I'm going to put my weight there and it'll just go straight down the hill. If I put my weight on the wrong side, then I could well find that the trike gets a little bit tippy, and that's something we want to avoid, but we'll see how we go. So I'm going to put my weight on the downhill side. I'm going to go down. See, I can feel that wheel getting off the ground there. You can feel it being a bit light and tippy, but if I put my weight on that left-hand side, no chance, it won't tip at all. So it's a very good technique to learn when you get a bit more than the startup skills and get used to riding it. Okay, so that's really it. We've covered quite a lot in this short video about how to get onto a tricycle, how to start riding it, how to get off a tricycle. We've also covered a few advanced techniques. There are more techniques that you can use when riding a tricycle, and I've only shown you a few today, but there'll be links in the videos. I don't know where they go, but to some of our other riding videos, and there'll also be a link to this beautiful trike, the Sobowo 2650, which is really suited to heavier and taller riders. It's a great tricycle. It's got everything you could ever need. So for now, I'm going to leave it as it is. I'd really like you to give our video the thumbs up, the like, and if you want to see more of these videos, please subscribe. It really helps our channel grow. Anyway, that's it from me. I'm going riding.